All right, let's walk through this together. Let's start here on the opening slide. How to start a social media management business. At first glance, this sounds tactical, platforms, posts, analytics, but underneath, this is really about building a business, not just managing accounts. As this title suggests, you're stepping into entrepreneurship, not just freelancing. That shift matters a lot. Gary Vaynerchuk's line on the screen, "The riches are in the niches," isn't motivational fluff. It's a survival rule. The people who struggle in this space usually aren't bad at social media. They're unclear about who they serve and why anyone should trust them. Before we go any further, here's a practical note. If you want something concrete to follow after this, something you can print, highlight, and revisit, you'll find a PDF version linked below. Download it, and if this kind of thinking helps you, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next layer we'll unpack together. Now, as we move into the agenda, notice the flow. This isn't random advice. We're starting with why this business works, then narrowing into positioning, credibility, pricing, systems, and growth. Each part builds on the last. Skip one, and the structure weakens. The reason this order matters is simple. Most people try to sell services before they understand the business model they're stepping into. That's how you end up burned out, underpaid, and confused about why clients keep leaving. This roadmap is about avoiding that trap. Now look at the market reality. Businesses depend on attention, not as a bonus, but as oxygen. Here's the interesting part. Most businesses know social media matters. They just don't have the time, consistency, or judgment to do it well. Owners are busy running operations. Marketing teams are stretched thin. Interns are guessing. That gap creates opportunity. And notice the phrase on this slide, recurring relationships. This is not about one-off viral posts. The strongest agencies don't sell content. They sell continuity, strategy, execution, feedback, adjustment. That's why retainer-based models outperform project work over time. Stability compounds. Now we move into one of the most misunderstood ideas here, niche. Niche is not limitation. It's leverage. Specialization feels risky at first. People worry they'll exclude potential clients. In reality, the opposite happens. When you speak clearly to a specific problem, the right people lean in faster. Trust forms quicker because your experience feels relevant. Think about this. If you owned a dental clinic, would you rather hire a social media manager or someone who's grown appointment bookings for local healthcare practices? Same skill set, completely different perception. This is where Gary Vaynerchuk's thinking in crushing it becomes practical, not inspirational. Clarity beats reach. Depth beats volume. Next comes credibility, and this is where a lot of beginners overthink. Credibility before scale. You don't need a flashy website. You don't need dozens of clients. What you need is proof that you understand outcomes. A simple portfolio showing what changed because of your work is far more powerful than polished branding without results. Donald Miller's idea shows up here for a reason. People buy what they understand fastest. If a client can quickly see what problem you solve and how you measure success, you've already lowered resistance. This is why even personal projects, test accounts, or small pilot clients matter early on. They give you language, they give you reference points, and they build confidence that compounds quietly over time. Then comes pricing, the emotional landmine. Underpricing feels safe, it feels polite, it feels like gratitude, but over time it drains energy and attracts clients who don't respect boundaries. Sustainable pricing isn't about greed, it's about alignment. Tiered pricing works because it frames choice. It lets clients self-select based on seriousness, and it protects you from doing premium work for entry-level expectations. Josh Nelson's line, "Price for profit, not survival," lands hard here. Survival pricing keeps you busy. Profit pricing gives you room to think, improve, and stay in the game long enough to get good. Now we arrive at client acquisition, and here's where expectations need adjusting. Clients come from trust. Early on, most clients don't come from ads or funnels. They come from conversations, from showing up consistently, from offering value before asking for commitment. Think of it less like selling and more like signal building. When you help someone understand their problem better, even without charging, you position yourself as someone worth listening to. Gary Vaynerchuk's idea of giving more value than you take isn't charity. It's long-term leverage. At this point, let me ask you something, and this ties directly into what you've seen so far. Which part of this feels hardest right now? Is it choosing a niche, pricing confidently, reaching out to people? Drop a comment with the one thing you're currently stuck on. Reading through those responses shapes what we go deeper into next, and chances are someone else is wrestling with the same question. Now let's talk about systems, the quiet backbone of everything. Systems create freedom. Without systems, every client feels heavier than the last. You're constantly deciding, reacting, improvising. With systems, decisions become defaults. Tools handle repetition. Your attention moves upward from execution to strategy. This doesn't mean removing the human touch, it means protecting it. When routine tasks are automated or documented, you show up sharper where judgment actually matters. Alan Dibb's idea, systems run the business, isn't corporate thinking. It's sanity thinking. Now look at the actionable takeaways on this slide. None of these are dramatic. That's the point. Define one niche. Build one clear portfolio. Design simple packages. Reach out to people you already know. Document what you do once so you don't have to reinvent it later. Momentum comes from small, repeated clarity, not big leaps. Then comes the reflection slide, and this question deserves space. If your agency stayed the same size for a year, would you still enjoy running it? This question quietly exposes everything: pricing, client selection, workload, systems. Growth isn't always the problem. Sometimes the structure is. Sit with that for a moment. And finally, the closing thought. A social media management business isn't built on algorithms. Algorithms change. Platforms rise and fall. What lasts is clarity, trust, and execution. If you take one thing from this, let it be this: build something you can sustain before you try to scale it. That's how freedom actually shows up. To make this practical, grab the PDF linked in the description. It's designed to turn these ideas into action. Subscribe if you want to keep building this layer by layer, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next.